You've been through this before. What not with the Giants and Dexter though. What are your thoughts on that and the prospects of him being a Giant moving forward?
Yeah, we'll find out. I think the prospects are going to be high because the Giants, speaking for the Giants, we want Dexter here, and I believe Dexter wants to be here. And that's a good formula, but there's business involved. It's a business proposition. We know it's pro football, and these things happen every year, pretty much on every team. So, not surprised by it. Saw it coming a few weeks back, probably, and good conversations with Dexter's agent, Joel Siegel, and understood what they were thinking, and this is where we're at. So we'll just try to work through it and see where we can get done.
One more. Did you speak to Dexter about this?
Not about this. I talked to Dexter early a couple times when I first got hired. First few weeks, we had great conversations, but once it moved into this type of conversation, it got to be about business, and we knew it was going to be an issue. Joel's preference was that we talked through him.
Thank you.
Bruce Beck.
Hey,
Hi, John. How are you?
hey.
I hear your building already has a positive vibe that has not permeated there for years. I know culture is a hard word to define, but how do you change what has been a losing culture? And what does that word mean to you, John?
Gosh, Bruce, man, we're gonna someday I'm gonna do a book. Gary Myers would probably want to write it, and we'll talk about all those things you just asked because that's some really deep stuff, But that definitely is at the heart of what we're going to try to do, and try to be excited about every single day. Try to approach the day, as my dad would say, with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. And we talked to the guys about that today, and we had a good time. We had fun. We had great meetings. It was just a joy to be around the guys. We had all but three guys here, and it was just amazing. So that's what it is. It's just a bunch of people coming together to build something together that is a team and plays like a team and plays like a team better than any other team. And if you do that, then you have a chance to be the best team because the best team is a team that plays the best. I might have said that in the meeting today, and it was fun to be around the guys. It was fun to stand in front of the New York Giants today. It was an honor, and I told them that it was an honor to stand before the New York Giants today and talk to the New York Giants and have them communicate back. And we had a fun time. We had a great meeting.
Steve Wino.
Hey, John, you just mentioned three guys not there. Who are the other two?
Paulson wasn't here, and we had Sam wasn't here because he has a surgery that he can't travel with yet. That he's got to wait for the stitches to heal on. So those are the three.
Paulson, an excused absence, or is that unexpected?
There's no excused or unexcused. It's voluntary. Guys come or not come according to their choosing. Voluntary type time of year.
Just what's the challenge like when you have a Dexter situation or whatever? When you're coming into a new group, you've got new coaches, all that. What's this sort of like to sort of deal with that issue while also trying to get to know a brand new team?
Well, I mean, you meet people where they're at when you can, So I think it's part of it. It's pro football. It's expected. We had a great day today, and you build. And when guys do come back in situations like this or personal deals or whatever it might be, they merge right in. I mean, the traffic. It's like this New York traffic. North Jersey traffic is the traffic I've been in. You try to merge into some of these roads here, like Route 3 right outside here. You better be accelerating pretty quickly because it's moving, man. So, well, hopefully it's moving. If it's not moving, it's going to take a while to get home. But it's usually moving when I leave, which is a little later. But I digress. The point is you got to get up to speed quick. And when someone comes back in the building from something like this, they got to hit the accelerator, and they will, and we'll be rolling.
Brian Dunleavy.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, John, how are you?
Good.
What if I could go back to what Paul said for a second on Dexter Lawrence? How involved are you in that? Like, is that Joe and Dawn, or as an involved head coach, do you get involved in the negotiations there too?
That's a great question. I would say I'll get as involved as a head coach should, which is I'll be in conversations with Dawn and with Joe, and but they'll be leading the negotiation. It's not something I'm going to be. It's not my expertise area, so I won't be involved as far as any kind of negotiating. But we'll talk about it, and I'll probably throw my 2 cents in where I can, but trust them to do a great job, and I know they will. They always do.
And then changing gears, we saw Malik Nabers there, Skattebo there. I don't know if anybody else had any kind of injuries, but those two in particular, people will want to know like when the players can get on the field. Do you expect them to be, I guess that would be phase two or whatnot. Like where do you expect them? Will they be able to do anything this spring?
Yeah, not too much. I mean, Scat probably, is going to be ahead of Malik with that. Just I think you guys all know that. Scat probably get out there a little bit at some point in time, some degree. I can't really. It wouldn't be fair for me to give you days or dates or to what
Mhm.
degree. I really haven't had that in-depth discussion with Adam. I got a vague idea, but it's not that important today. And we try to focus on today. Malik is going to be more toward, into training camp and closer to the season. That's more Malik's timeline.
But good to have him here today for the classroom stuff, I imagine.
Fantastic. He's classroom. He's lifting weights. He's in the rehab stuff. Got up and spoke like everybody did, and it was great, man. He's great spirits. It was fun being around him.
Thank you.
Dan Duggan.
Hey, John. Just on the Dex thing, everything is obviously new. You're setting a foundation here. How much you take into account precedent, where this is a guy with 2 years left on his deal, pushing for a raise? Is that something that you have to factor? Everyone else is going to watch how you guys handle this.
Yeah, I'm sure all that's factored in for sure, Dan. That's all thought about, but that's not really what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the team meeting. I'm thinking about the offense and defensive meetings, the systems they're putting in, thinking about the football, and those kind of conversations happen all the time between the parties, back and forth, and it's all part of it.
And then another guy, I don't think we've asked you about him, is Kayvon. His name has come up in trade talks. How do you view him? Do you view him as a piece of the foundation, or do you think he's a guy who could be traded?
I think he's a great player. I'm excited about him. I was fired up to see him today. He looks great. He's in great shape, and I'm thinking about him on the field. I'm thinking about getting him plugged into our defense and getting him rolling. I think, you want to talk about like, well, is he a trade possibility? Everybody's tradable. Everybody, even you're tradable, Dan. If we would get something for you, we'd trade you in a heartbeat, man. But it's not really what you focus on. You focus on the fact that we're having a day. We're talking ball. We're getting our team is coming together as a team, and the business part of it, is the business part, and that kind of swirls around us. But we try to lock in on the football.
Got it. Thank you.
Evan Barnes.
John, how we doing?
Good, Evan. How you
All right.
doing?
Good. Switching gears a little bit. Obviously, we talked a lot about Jaxson, just kind of, how you communicated with him and talked to him. Now that you guys have, been in person and talked on, I guess, it's the first day, but just what are those conversations and kind of how are you feeling about him? And now how are you feeling about him now that, Matt Nagy, some of the offensive staff are talking with him and that building that relationship to help him in year two?
Great question. I mean, I saw him in the offensive team meeting, offensive meeting. Then I saw him in the quarterback meeting. I didn't stay in there for the quarterback meeting, but I talked to him as they were getting ready, and he was trying to he had a new pen for his notepad. You take, you guys are old school. You're like me. You got the spiral notebook, right, with the actual pen. Or I actually have an erasable pen, but he's got one that writes on the iPad that he can, log and everything. So. But he was opening up, and it was all foreign to me. I didn't know what it was. What was the question?
The question was just how are those conversations going with him as far as just building him up, developing him, and those conversations with Nagy and the offensive staff? How is that relationship growing now that you guys are talking more and Eddie's here? What are you seeing so far?
That's a great question. Today was the first day for football, so the first day we had a chance to talk football. So what I witnessed was the first install, which is just the very first example of how we're going to build the offense. That's what was put in today. And I saw that put in. I saw him reacting to it and interacting. Might ask him what he thought about it. Seemed excited. Just kind of dipping our toe in the water today with that. But it was fun to see. It was fun to see offense up on the screen and Jaxson right there taking his notes. That was awesome. So it was a good start.
All right, thank you.
Art Stapleton.
Hey, John, how are you?
Hey, Art.
you had said before that, the idea of what's important now and what isn't important. I think you were referring to Malik in terms of his timeline on the field. What is important for you right now? How have you evolved through the years in terms of what you want to get out of the spring and where you need to be at a certain time?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if it's evolved. Probably it's more the same now than as it's ever been. And we want to get the most done we possibly can in the 4 hours they allot. And we want guys to take their iPads home and study them and make the most of the day. We worry about today. Tomorrow has enough troubles of its own, so we want to make the most of the day. We want to get everything we possibly can done in the time it's allotted. We want to be as organized as we can. We want to present something efficiently as we can. We want the system that we're presenting to be as well built as we can, because we want to make it we want to put as many miles behind us today as we possibly can. So I guess what I'm saying is like we want to get everything done we can. Now there are certain things you can do and certain things you can't do. Like we're not practicing. There's nothing on the field right now. There's no walkthroughs or anything like that. So we want to have the best meeting we can have. We want the best weightlifting. We want the best conditioning session that we can. And then also, get to know the guys. For me, it's like a lot of faces. I don't know who everybody is. Even when I see them, I don't know who they are. I'm like John Harbaugh. Hi, John Harbaugh, And most guys will say, hey, they'll give you their name, but some guys don't give me their name. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm not really sure who you are. Because I haven't seen I don't really know their face yet, So it's been that kind of a day. So that's part of making the most of the first day, right? First day of school, sort of. And it's been really great. It's been really fun.
The other thing I just wanted to ask you real quick, you had mentioned the systems. You've talked about how you knew what you wanted on the defensive side of the ball, but offense was really a work in progress. How close are you to having something to present to the guys, in total for the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, we have the system built. We have not to say it won't evolve, because it always is it's always a work in progress. But we have the system built, and what we'll start doing is installing it so they get a grasp of how it's put together. Like even today, we showed them how it's put together, so they can start getting their arms around how to think about the words and the terms and what comes off of what and how it's structured. So then that once we dive into the specific plays, they can kind of just understand them better. But like what exactly we do, we want to be able to build a system that we can do all these different things in a way that is easy to understand and easy to operate. But once we start to understand the players and how the players fit together better, then you kind of decide what roads you go down, what things you do. Even in a game plan based on your opponent, it even tightens up a little more. But that'll be an ongoing process through training camp.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Tom Rock.
John, I think you said that you had Malik talk to the team, and I guess you said everybody did. So what goes into that? Why do you think about doing that? And just how different was this day for you compared to the 18 previous ones that you've had of first days of off-season programs?
Right, Tom. Two great questions. The first one was we just did an introduction thing, and we started with the coaches and worked our way through the whole team, and it was a little different than I'm Tom Rock, played at Southern Cal. I'm an offensive tackle. It was more, I'm Tom Rock. We want our identity and we want a purpose. So, give us a quick overview on your identity, how you see yourself as a player and a person or whatever you want. And, how do you see your purpose and identity and purpose and identity. Each guy went through that and kind of told us a little bit about that. So we just start to, I think, those are the things when you're a little bit vulnerable that way, you open up a little bit more and you start to get to know each other more and bond a little bit with each other. How different is it for me than 18 years? It was different. It was a football meeting in front of a team, so that's not new. But it was the New York Giants, and I told them, how much it meant to me to be standing in front of the New York Giants, and what an honor it was to have an opportunity to have our first team meeting with the New York Giants. And
did anybody surprise you in terms of giving their identity and purpose?
No, I was impressed. Everybody was really thoughtful about it, and it was some really deep, good stuff.
Thanks, John.
Coach has to go, so we will take 4 more, 1 question each. Jordan Renan.
Hey, John. Real quick on Dex, you mentioned, there's a high, probability he returns. You both want to return. But how much are you at least willing to entertain the possibility of granting his request for a trade?
Well, I don't know if granting a request is really the right way to say it, because it doesn't really work that way. It's not like a Christmas gift. It just doesn't work like that. It's business. So the business is to be the best football team that we can be, and the business for him, I'm sure, is to be the best player he can be. And then there's financial obligations, restraints, opportunities, all those things that go around that, because it's pro football. I guess there is in college football now too. It's just it's different a little bit in the way it works through the contracts in this league. So that's really what it boils down to. We'll see what happens.
Charlotte Carroll.
Hey, John, you mentioned Paulson's also absent. I just wanted to follow up on why he's not there. Is that contract related? Is it injury related?
Charlotte, we just got done, like, I don't know, 45 minutes ago. So I'm not exactly sure, but it's his right. It's his reason. Whatever his reason is, I'll be interested to hear it. But it is what it is. It's okay.
Thank you.
Pat Leonard.
John, you went through a very public trade request with Lamar Jackson a few years ago in Baltimore, but you guys got that to the finish line where he was still your franchise quarterback, gets a new contract. What did you learn from that situation, if anything, about how to bring something like Dexter's situation to a resolution positively?
Right, Pat. Another great question. I learned, and I think we knew this going in, and the way it was approached was just with patience. I mean, we knew the relationships are the relationships. We had great relationships. It's a little different because I knew Lamar at that point. We had been working together for like 5 years, 6 years, 4 years, 5 years, something like that. And it wasn't like, it's not quite that way with Dex. I don't know Dex as well, but I think it's the same in the sense of it's just understand that's part of the business of the job, and it'll get resolved. It's going to work out. Dexter wants to play. We want him to play. How it's all going to shake out, we don't control that. We're not given to know the future, and the only thing we really can't control is the outcome. But what we can control is how we approach it along the way, with respect, professionally, absolutely. All these players in this league, all the coaches in this league, all the front office people in the league are all deserve to be highly respected. It's high level business. It's high level football, and I'm sure it'll be handled in a real high level way like that. And I'm not worried about it.
Thanks.
Last one, Jory Epstein.
Hi, John. You've spoken a lot about Dexter's from the business side, but can you speak to what he can bring the team both on the field and in terms of a culture setter as you get established in the organization?
Yeah, I mean, Dexter's he's a veteran guy. He's got a lot of skins on the wall, as they say. He's a dominant football player. I know he's excited. I know this because he told me this a few weeks back when we talked. But he wants to play his best football of his career. He's expecting to play the best football of his career. From what Joel's agent said, he's working super hard, training and everything. So, that's what I expect. I expect him to come out and be that leader by example, be that leader by what he says, what he does, just who he is. Be himself, be you, be the best you that you can be. All the things that I think that Dexter is about. I would expect him to be all those things.